All right, y'all, welcome back to episode number 22 of Rebooking Every WrestleMania. That means we're looking at WrestleMania 22, big time, 2006 in Chicago. And honestly, I thought this was a really good show. Obviously, there was some things that they couldn't control, like Batista's injury and the passing of Eddie Guerrero, which definitely, had an effect on the card. But I still thought they did pretty well, considering the fact. My only gripe would be, getting a better match for The Undertaker and just giving the World Heavyweight Championship triple threat more time. I felt like, for a big title match, they only get 9 minutes. That is really, really short. I'm looking at the card here, the U.S. title match got more time than the World Heavyweight Championship match. Undertaker and Mark Henry got more time. So, yeah. But aside from that, again, they had really good moments. It was kind of a brutal WrestleMania, a lot of violence. We had Edge and Mick Foley in the hardcore match with, the fire, the flaming table, the spear through the flaming table. We got Shawn Michaels giving Vince McMahon the elbow drop while he had a trash can on him, which is fun, and he gave the DX chop. And also the crowd reaction for Triple H. He got massively popped, planting the seeds for D-Generation X. And it was a really unique environment, for John Cena as well. And it become normalized, the John Cena booyah reactions. But I believe this was the first time where, we heard it on a grander stage. And yeah, they had a solid Money in the Bank ladder match as well. Ric Flair getting superplexed off the ladder, which was pretty wild, So yeah, I thought it was a really good card. I think some tweaks here and there. It could be a better card. So let's get into my card right now. All right, the first match will be for the WWE Tag Team Championship. We got Eminem defending against Paul London and Brian Kendrick. I think they had a really good match at Judgment Day, and I think they both deserve to be on the card, especially Eminem. They had a great 2005. They won the tag titles earlier in the year, and yeah, I just thought, they definitely deserve to be on the card, especially as a team. This was also their last year as a team, so yeah, they definitely deserve to be on the card. And Paul London, Brian Kendrick, very entertaining. And yeah, I think they also deserve to be on the card as well. And yeah, I think this would be a great, fun match. They had Paul London, Brian Kendrick win at Judgment Day. So why not just have them win at WrestleMania 22 and be a great feel-good moment. And from there, Johnny Nitro, he can make his way to Raw. And I believe Joey Mercury, he had some drug issues he was dealing with. So yeah, this would be a good time for Paul London and Brian Kendrick to get the win and establish themselves as the best tag team. All right, next up is the World Tag Team Championship match. The Big Show and Kane defending against Carlito and Chris Masters. So yeah, this actually did happen on the card. Yeah, we might as well just keep it the same. There wasn't really much challengers in the Raw division. And yeah, I thought Carlito and Chris Masters were a fun team. I felt like, Carlito was the brains of the group and Chris Masters was the muscle. And yeah, Carlito was kind of taking advantage of Chris Masters. It's funny how Carlito was the one who turned face. But yeah, they had some funny segments where they locked up. Was it the Big Show or Kane? They locked up Kane in a room, and then Kane just escaped. He's like, "Yo, there's a back door," and and Big Show's like, "Man, these guys ain't so smart." So yeah, that was kind of funny. And yeah, I'd probably just keep the match the same. And yeah, you could give Big Show and Kane the win; they could retain. All right, next up we got Battle of the Hosses, Battle of the Big Man. We got Bobby Lashley versus Mark Henry. Yeah, I think this would be a good match. I felt like Bobby Lashley was a little out of place in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And I have something better for The Undertaker. So, yeah, you can simple build. Mark Henry says he's the most dominant man on SmackDown, strongest man. Bobby Lashley could come out and he could like slam Mark Henry, and they could do, typical build where they have like the arm wrestling contest, or Lashley's about to win. Mark Henry pulls the heel move where he kicks Lashley, hits him with the world's strongest slam, and yeah, they can even have like a bench press contest. All these typical, strongman versus beast type match. So yeah, I think you can give them like 5 to 7 minutes. Give Bobby Lashley the win. He's a new established star. And yeah, I think it'll be a good match. All right, next up, we got the Women's Championship match. Trish Stratus defending against Mickie James. And this is definitely, one of the crowd favorites matches just because of Mickie James. Her character was, on point. And she did some really, non-PG things during the match, and the fans were loving it. So you got to keep all that the same. And the feud was just really, really good. We had Mickie being the obsessed fan, and they had like they kissed under the mistletoe, and Trish was in the shower, and Mickie was like, "Oh, nice boobs" and all that. And eventually, the Mickie heel turn where she was like abducted Ashley Massaro, and she was like jealous of her friendship with Trish, and yeah, she became an entertaining character to like a really psychotic character. You're like, oh, this chick is crazy. So yeah, you got to keep all that build the same, keep the match the same. Mickie wins in a definitely fun, entertaining women's match, probably the best women's match to date on WrestleMania. All right, next up we got the Money in the Bank ladder match. So we got RVD, Chavo Guerrero, who's still on Raw, Shelton Benjamin, Matt Hardy, who's now on SmackDown, Finlay, and William Regal. So, yeah, I kept some participants the same. I took Flair out just because, first off, he shouldn't be doing ladder matches. Also, I have something, I think, better for him to do. And I took out Bobby Lashley. Like I said earlier, he was kind of out of his element in the match. So, yeah, I think it'll just be as good as the one that happened in real life. And they could all win qualifier matches to get in. And, yeah, you got to keep it the same where RVD wins the Money in the Bank. And eventually he just cash it in at One Night Stand. So, yeah, I think, it might even be a better match with some better workers here. You got Chavo, who could high fly, and William Regal, he's not a high flyer, but he's definitely a great in-ring technician, so he could add something different to the match. All right, next up, we got the U.S. Championship match. We got match 7 between Chris Benoit and Booker T. I was always wondering, why didn't they just have the blow-off match here at WrestleMania? This is definitely better for Booker. He doesn't have to face, Boogeyman. And, yeah, I have something else for JBL later in the show. They started the feud around Survivor Series, so maybe it is kind of long. So in my fantasy world, they would start it around Armageddon, the series, and yeah, match 7 would be here. Benoit could be down 3-1 or whatever, and he wins. He wins the next few matches. He wins at No Way Out, match 6. So there's kind of some hype for match 7. There's like a nice period of build for match 7, and yeah, Benoit gets the feel good win. He won it off Booker at No Way Out, so you could pretty much have that same match here, and I think it'll be a really, really good match. All right, next up we got Intercontinental Championship match. The Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Triple H. So yeah, in real life they had the feud already. It's been done, but in my booking, it'd be different. So at Raw Homecoming, Carlito and Chris Masters can start beating up Ric Flair. Triple H comes out, makes a save, and then they have a match at Taboo Tuesday, tag team match. The fans can vote on the special guest ref. Doesn't really matter. Triple H and Ric Flair win. And then at Survivor Series, it's Team Bischoff versus Team Vince. And if Vince wins, Bischoff gets fired. And Ric Flair is on Team Vince because he has issues with Bischoff. But Triple H decides to join Team Bischoff. Rick is like, man, what are you doing? And Triple H is like, man, I owe it to him. He gave me so much opportunity. I gotta. And Rick's kind of like questioning it, but he respects it. And in the match, you could have Ric Flair, eliminate Triple H by pulling his tights. It'd be, Triple H would be stunned, and but he won't do anything. And then they're both in the Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution, and then Triple H kind of hits Ric Flair with a low blow, pedigree, and eliminates Flair. And then Triple H and Ric Flair's not mad. He's like, I understand. I'm the dirtiest player of the game, so I should understand. And then at Royal Rumble, you could have Ric Flair eliminate Triple H kind of to get even. And then a couple weeks later, they have like a tag team match against Big Show and Kane. And Triple H could leave Ric Flair hanging after the match. He could bloody him up with the sledgehammer. And, Triple H could say, I'm the one who brought the Ric Flair back. And seeing you with the Intercontinental Championship makes me sick. How you lower yourself to that standard. And he's like, I'm gonna take that title off you and help you. And then so that's the build for the match. And again, these two were great workers at the time. And I'd have Triple H get the win. And great feud. All right, now we're at No Holds Barred Mick Foley versus Vince McMahon. So you can have this play up the same way, Shawn and Vince feud where, Vince is just abusing his power and, he's making Mick Foley going through all this stuff. Have Mick Foley, fight against the Spirit Squad. And, you can have great promos where Vince says, I made you. And Mick Foley can be like, no, the people made me, not you. And, your typical Vince McMahon feud. And, it could just be as brutal. I was thinking that Vince would do the flaming table spot. Probably not, but, you just Mick Foley beating the hell out of Vince for Vince making his life a living hell. And, again, Vince was, he was on one in 2006, and Mick Foley, he was in great shape. So I think this definitely be, better than the Shane Vince match. Probably on par with the Hogan Vince match. Maybe even a little better just because, Mick is more creative in the hardcore environment. And Vince was peak heel at the time. So, All right, next up, we got The Undertaker versus Randy Orton. Obviously, this happened last year, but if you listen to my rebooking, I had Taker fight Benoit and I had Orton in the main event Fatal 4-Way. So, why not, carry it over to this year? But definitely a better match than Mark Henry. I don't think Randy deserved to be in the title picture anyways. He was kind of being, a douche or dick, whatever you want to call him. So, the feud for this would be after Randy loses to Rey at No Way Out for the number one contender spot. You could have Randy say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with WrestleMania. And then Undertaker could come out and challenge him and say, you say you're the legend killer. Well, I'm the biggest legend of them all. And they kind of agree to the match and they shake hands. And that's when Randy slaps him, just like he did in real life in 2005. And then you can have the same thing with Bob Orton coming out and saying, oh, that's my boy and all that. And Randy, jumping him. And I think it'll just be as good as their match at WrestleMania 21, and Undertaker gets the win. All right. Another match that happened at WrestleMania 21, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. Again, we're going off base what I booked previously, so this match hasn't happened yet at WrestleMania. And, you could go two different ways here. You could have Shawn Michaels and Kurt fight for the first time, or you could have them just be the rubber match, because I know they fought at Vengeance. Then you could probably have them fight at Unforgiven or something, and then there was a Homecoming where it was a draw. So this could be the rubber match, or they could just fight for the first time. And you could do the same build if it's the first time, have Shawn get eliminated by Kurt. After Kurt, he got eliminated by Shawn. Kurt comes back in the ring. And then you could do the same thing where Kurt, he says he could do Shawn's whole career in 4 weeks. He does a ladder match. He fights Marty Jannetty. And Marty Jannetty was available because he was around during the Vince feud anyways. And yeah, you could do the sexy Kurt thing, and Shawn can be the cameraman. You could do all the same things from last year. So, again, I think it might be even better of a match just because Kurt was on a roll this time. You know, he had a great match with The Undertaker. So, it'd be on par and might even be better than last year's WrestleMania. And you got to give them like 20 to 25 minutes to tell the story. And yeah, they're going to steal the show. All right, next up is the semi-main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. We got JBL versus Rey Mysterio. So, yes, Batista, he gets injured. And I'd have JBL win the tournament against Chris Benoit at the Royal Rumble, the finals. You have Booker kind of cost Benoit there. And Benoit was like dedicating, you know, the world title win to Eddie. And then JBL could come out mocking, you know, Benoit, saying he dedicated this win to Eddie. And on the same show, Rey Mysterio wins the Royal Rumble match. And yeah, he comes out and, you know, he challenges JBL. And that's when Randy could come out and challenge Rey to a match. So obviously Rey, you know, he defeats Randy Orton. And yeah, from there, you know, you can have the kind of a similar feud between JBL and Eddie, where JBL is kind of being, you know, very ignorant and like racist towards Rey Mysterio. And yeah, you could have Rey Mysterio do some fun things like, you know, like smash his limo and all that, steal his hat, you know, just kind of playing off the Eddie lie, cheat, and steal. He's saying, you know, he's feeling like, you know, he feels like lying, cheating, and stealing. Ray could say that and all that. And, yeah, not really push it that he's winning for Eddie, but kind of like it's really, you know, it is, but it's not shoving in your face, right? So, and I think JBL would be a great heel. And obviously in my rebooking, this is JBL's first world title win because I didn't have him as WWE champion previously. And, yeah, I think he's the right heel to, you know, put over Rey Mysterio. And, yeah, Rey Mysterio will not get booed here, you know, like he's going against Kurt Angle. JBL is, like, one of the most hated heels. And, yeah, plays off the history as well between JBL and Eddie. And, yeah, Rey gets the win, dedicates to Eddie, and I think it'll be a great moment. All right, now we're at the main event of the evening, the WWE Championship, the champion Edge defending against John Cena. So, yeah, you have the same thing here. Edge cashes in at New Year's Revolution, but John Cena doesn't get the rematch. He's in the Rumble match, and Edge is fighting. He could fight like Matt Hardy. This is where I'd actually have Matt lose to Edge and go to SmackDown, so at least, you know, they could have a ladder match. So, yeah, Matt, he's still on Raw, but he loses to Edge at the Rumble in a ladder match. And, yeah, he has to go to SmackDown now. And during the Rumble, actually, you could have Lita distract Cena and Edge actually throw him out. So, kind of similar to what The Miz did to John Cena in 2011. So, yeah, you could have that go on. And, yeah, John Cena would win a tournament to get the number one contender spot. And yeah, you know, you could play off the same things of their good feud in 2006. Maybe you could even have Edge slap John Cena's dad for this rather than SummerSlam, the build for this. And yeah, you know, they could have great promos. John Cena could go back to, you know, making fun of Lita and all that, and Edge can, you know, he could, you know, do like quick attacks and run away because he's a slimy heel. And yeah, I think the crowd reaction would definitely be pro Edge, but, you know, it would be a fun match. And I'd actually have Edge retain here and, you know, save the Cena win for later, maybe Backlash or something, just to, you know, surprise the crowd a little bit. And actually, you know, you said like you don't want the heel to win because the crowd's going to go home, you know, it's sad. But actually, if Edge wins, I think they're going to go home happy, actually. So, yeah, Edge gets to win. Lita could kind of help with that. And, yeah, Edge kind of gets his WrestleMania moment. All right, guys. So that is my card for WrestleMania 22. Let me know what you think. Obviously, There are some weird things where I had matches that happened previously, but again, like I said, this is my world, so everything is based off what I booked previously. And I thought, I think I might have made a better card. I like the U.S. title match, kind of culminating at WrestleMania. I like saving the Flair Triple H feud. They had great matches too in 2005 to WrestleMania. And I like putting Edge in the title picture. I felt like he deserved it after a great year in 2005. I like having, JBL being the one to feud against Rey Mysterio just because of JBL and Eddie's history as well. And yeah, I added the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. I thought Eminem and Paul London and Brian Kendrick deserved to be on the card. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about my card. And let me get into my card right now. So for the WWE Tag Team Championship, Eminem versus Paul London and Brian Kendrick. For the World Tag Team Championship, The Big Show and Kane versus Carlito and Chris Masters. Bobby Lashley versus Mark Henry. For the Women's Championship, Trish Stratus defending against Mickie James. The Money in the Bank ladder match, Rob Van Dam, Chavo Guerrero, Shelton Benjamin. Matt Hardy, Finlay, and William Regal. For the U.S. Championship, Match 7, Chris Benoit versus Booker T. For the Intercontinental Championship, Ric Flair versus Triple H. No Holds Barred match, Mick Foley versus Vince McMahon. The Undertaker versus Randy Orton. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. For the World Heavyweight Championship, JBL versus Rey Mysterio. And for the WWE Championship, Edge versus John Cena. So yeah, guys, that's my card. Thanks for listening and appreciate the support. Look out for WrestleMania 23 coming soon. Peace.